Under the radiant summer sun of a bright July morning in 2025, Buckingham Palace stands as a timeless symbol of tradition, its golden stone facade glowing warmly against a clear blue sky. The palace gates, adorned with intricate ironwork, frame the scene perfectly as a crowd gathers in the thousands, their voices a lively hum of anticipation that fills the air with energy. Tourists from every corner of the globe, families from Australia, students from Japan, retirees from the United States press against the barriers, their phones and cameras held high, eager to capture the iconic changing of the guard ceremony. This ritual, a centuries-old tradition dating back to the 17th century, is a spectacle of precision and discipline, a moment where the Queen's Guard, in their scarlet tunics and towering bearskin hats, embody the unyielding honor of the British monarchy. The cobblestone courtyard echoes with the chatter of the crowd, children perched on their parents' shoulders, vendors selling Union Jack flags, and the faint sound of a street musician playing a patriotic tune in the distance. Amidst this sea of excitement, a 9-year-old boy named Liam sits in his wheelchair, his small hands gripping the armrests tightly, his eyes wide with a mixture of wonder and longing. Liam, born with a condition that affects his mobility, has always been fascinated by stories of bravery knights, soldiers, and heroes who protect the innocent. For months, he's begged his mother, Emily, to bring him to London to see the royal guards, whom he imagines as modern-day knights in shining armor. Today, his dream is coming true. But the journey hasn't been easy. The trip from their small village in northern England was long, and Liam's condition makes crowded places challenging. But the boy's determination and his mother's love have brought them here. Emily kneels beside him, her hand gently squeezing his as she whispers words of encouragement, her smile warm but tinged with worry. As she notices the growing chaos around them, she adjusts the blanket over Liam's lap, her maternal instincts on high alert, knowing how overwhelming the crowd can be for her sensitive son. The atmosphere shifts as the ceremony draws closer, the excitement turning into a restless energy that ripples through the crowd. A group of tourists begins to push forward, their elbows jostling for space, their voices rising in frustration as they vie for the best view. Among them is a burly man, a self-proclaimed professional photographer named Richard Holt, whose aggressive demeanor stands out even in the bustling crowd. Holt, in his late 40s, is determined to get the perfect shot for his social media account, which boasts thousands of followers. He shoves his way to the front, his camera swinging carelessly from his neck, his face set in a scowl. Emily, standing protectively by Liam, politely asks him to make space, her voice soft but firm. "Excuse me, sir. Could you please let my son see?" He's been waiting for this moment for so long. Holt barely glances at her, his tone harsh as he snaps, "I need to get this shot, move aside." He positions himself directly in front of Liam, blocking the boy's view entirely, and strikes a pose with a mocking grin, snapping selfies with the palace gates in the background, oblivious to the disappointment etched on Liam's face. Emily's heart sinks as she sees Liam's expression falter, his small shoulders slumping, his dream slipping away. The situation escalates in an instant, a moment that shocks everyone nearby. Holt, in his haste to adjust his position for another photo, carelessly kicks the wheel of Liam's wheelchair while stepping back, the impact jarring the boy and causing him to flinch in fear. The crowd falls silent, a collective gasp rippling through the onlookers as they process the callous act. Liam's eyes fill with tears, his small body trembling, his hands clutching the armrest tighter as he looks up at his mother with a mix of fear and confusion. Emily's face pales with panic, her hands reaching instinctively to comfort her son, her voice trembling as she says, "It's okay, sweetheart, I'm here." She glares at Holt, her anger barely contained, but he shrugs dismissively, muttering, "It was an accident, calm down," before turning back to his camera, his lack of remorse fueling the crowd's growing unease. Whispers of disapproval spread, some onlookers shaking their heads, others murmuring to their companions, but no one steps forward. The weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. Then, something unimaginable happens. One of the royal guards, standing motionless in his post just meters away, turns his head, a subtle movement, but one that breaks every rule of the ceremony. The Queen's Guard, trained to remain as unyielding as statues, are forbidden from reacting to the crowd, their discipline a cornerstone of their role. The Guard, a 32-year-old man named Sergeant James Carter, has served in the British Army for over a decade, including tours in conflict zones where he earned commendations for his bravery. Carter, a father himself to a 6-year-old daughter, joined the Queen's Guard 2 years ago, drawn to the honor of protecting the monarchy. But his military background has also given him a deep sense of empathy, a trait that often clashes with the rigid expectations of his ceremonial role. As Carter's gaze lands on Liam, he sees the boy's tear-streaked face, the mother's distress, and the photographer's indifference. And something inside him shifts. The crowd watches in stunned disbelief as Carter steps out of formation, his polished boots echoing on the pavement with a deliberate thud that cuts through the murmurs like a gunshot. Cameras flash wildly, capturing the unprecedented moment as whispers spread like wildfire. A Queen's Guard, trained to remain an unyielding statue, has moved. Some in the crowd gasp audibly, others raise their phones higher, eager to document the historic breach of protocol. Carter strides toward Liam, his crimson tunic catching the sunlight, the black bearskin hat adding an air of solemnity to his presence. He positions himself between the boy and the photographer, a protective barrier against the chaos. His broad shoulders squared as he faces Holt, who stumbles back in surprise, his bravado faltering under the guard's piercing gaze. Then, in a gesture that silences the crowd entirely, Carter kneels down to Liam's level, his movements slow and deliberate, the heavy tunic folding around him as he lowers himself. His eyes, softened with compassion, meet the boy's, and he places a gloved hand on Liam's arm, his voice low and steady as he asks, "Are you okay, little man?" Liam's tears spill over, but a small, grateful smile breaks through as he nods, his fear melting under the guard's gentle gaze. Emily, overcome with emotion, covers her mouth as tears stream down her face, her heart swelling with gratitude for this unexpected act of kindness. She whispers, "Thank you," her voice barely audible. But Carter hears her, offering a slight nod in return, his focus still on Liam. The crowd, initially stunned into silence, begins to murmur again, this time with awe and admiration, some wiping away their own tears as they witness the tender moment. A second guard, Corporal Henry Brooks, approaches from his post, his steps measured, his expression unreadable beneath his own bearskin hat. Brooks, a 28-year-old who joined the Guard at the same time as Carter, has always been a stickler for protocol, often reminding his comrades of the importance of their role as symbols of tradition. The crowd holds its breath, wondering if he will reprimand his colleague for breaking protocol, if he will enforce the strict discipline that defines their role, perhaps even ordering Carter back to his post. But instead, Brooks pauses, his gaze shifting from Carter to Liam, taking in the boy's tearful smile and the mother's gratitude. He stands there for a moment, the weight of the decision clear in his stance, then offers a slight, almost imperceptible nod, a silent signal of approval, a moment of understanding that transcends the rules they've both sworn to uphold. The crowd exhales, a wave of relief washing over them, some clapping softly as they realize the guards are united in this act of compassion. Carter rises, his posture still proud, and gently guides Liam's wheelchair closer to the fence, giving the boy a front-row view of the ceremony. Emily follows, her hands trembling as she pushes the chair, her eyes never leaving her son's face. Liam's face lights up with a radiant smile, his eyes sparkling as he watches the guards march in perfect unison, their movements a mesmerizing dance of tradition, each step, each turn a testament to their training. The band plays on, the music swelling with a triumphant note. But for Liam, the real magic is in the guard beside him, the man who made his dream come true. The crowd, moved by the scene, begins to clap softly. Their applause a quiet tribute to Carter's compassion, a sound that grows into a gentle wave of appreciation. Some tourists lower their cameras, choosing to experience the moment rather than capture it, their faces reflecting a shared sense of humanity. Holt, the photographer, stands off to the side, his earlier arrogance replaced by a sheepish expression as he realizes the gravity of his actions. The crowd's disapproval now a tangible weight on his shoulders. As the ceremony continues, Liam's joy is palpable, his hands clapping along with the rhythm of the march, his dream fulfilled in a way he never imagined. Emily watches her son, her heart full, whispering to him, "I told you they were brave, didn't I?" Liam nods, his gaze still fixed on the guards, his small voice filled with wonder as he says, "They're like knights." Mummy, the moment marks a turning point, not just for Liam and Emily, but for everyone who witnesses it. News of the incident spreads quickly, first through social media, as videos and photos go viral, then through news outlets that pick up the story with headlines like, "Queen's Guard breaks protocol to comfort child," and "A moment of kindness at Buckingham Palace." The story resonates deeply, sparking conversations about compassion, duty, and the balance between tradition and humanity. Some traditionalists argue that Carter's actions undermined the Guard's reputation, but the overwhelming response is one of admiration, with thousands praising his empathy. The royal family, informed of the incident, releases a statement commending Carter's actions, noting that the monarchy has always been about serving the people, and this act of kindness reflects that spirit. Carter himself is called before his commanding officer, expecting a reprimand, but instead receives a quiet word of praise. "You did the right thing, Sergeant." Tradition is important, but so is humanity. The incident inspires small changes within the Guard new guidelines that allow for discretion in emergencies, ensuring that such acts of compassion are not discouraged. For Liam and Emily, the day becomes a cherished memory, one they'll carry forever. They return to their village, where Liam proudly tells his friends about the knight who helped him, his drawing of the guard now hanging on his bedroom wall. Emily writes a heartfelt letter to the palace, thanking Carter for giving her son a moment of joy. A letter that Carter keeps in his locker, a reminder of why he serves. The video ends with a tender moment, the camera zooming in on Liam as he looks up at Carter with pure admiration. The ceremony winding down in the background, the sun casting long shadows across the courtyard. In a small, shaky voice, Liam says, "I just wanted to see you up close, because I think you're really brave." Carter, his face still composed, but his eyes warm with emotion, responds with a gentle nod, replying, "I'm just doing my job, sir." The words, simple yet profound, linger in the air as the scene fades to black, leaving behind a powerful reminder of the humanity that can shine through even the most rigid traditions, a reminder that sometimes the greatest act of duty is to show kindness, to see the world through the eyes of a child, and to make a small dream come true in a big way.